Hello, how you getting on? Today on Look Mom, I'm on the internet, I'm checking out Peavey's 3120. So I felt like doing another amp video because I feel like I haven't done any in a while. A lot of speaker videos, a lot of gizmo videos, little tests. But I love amplifiers and I wanted to test one. And when I do my amplifier videos, I try to focus on less popular amps. Amps that didn't get the spotlight they deserve, like the Laney VH100R, the Engel Retro Tube and that. And I feel like the Peavey 3120 is one of those amps that deserves way more recognition than it actually does. Now, according to the wisdom of the internet, the Peavey 3120 is essentially a rehoused, rebadged Peavey XXX. Actually, XXXX if we're being pedantic, and I am always pedantic. Now, I personally think rebranding the Peavey XXX was a good decision because I think this amp looks much better. It doesn't look like it was designed by a horny 13-year-old, but actually quite tasteful. There were a few of these with different versions. There was one with white fonts instead of the gold one here. Later ones were made in China. This one is a US made one. And like the Peavey XXX, it takes power tubes from the 6L6 family of tubes and EF34s. I have, what did I put in this? I have Peavey E34Ls in this apparently, which is one of my favorite power tubes of all time. And I want to start this off with a bit of a hot take. I think I prefer this to a Peavey 5150. I think this is nicer. At least that is the impression I get when I play them individually. And I've never shot them out against each other with an amp switcher. And the amp switcher is the ultimate test for your own bias. And that's what I want to do today. I want to go through the channels of the Peavey XXX. Nope. What I want to do first is go through the channels and the functions of the Peavey 3120 briefly, just to see what kind of tones we can get out of it. Then I'm going to take my Peavey 5150 script, which is behind me, put it on top here and connect them up to that KHE amp switcher you're seeing in the corner there, and switch back and forth to see which amp I actually prefer. Yeah, let's get into it. The way I like this amp, it actually sounds like this. That was on the crunch channel, boosted, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's start off with the clean channel, and that sounds like this. As you can tell, it's pretty undirtable. It's crystal clean. It has loads of headroom. It doesn't have a gain knob. It just has a 3-band EQ, which is passive, and a volume knob, and that's all. And really, I can't get any gain out of this whatsoever. Very clean, but I don't want to spend too much time on this. We're going to look at that in the shootout. Let's go back to the rhythm channel, not the crunch channel. And without a boost, it sounds like this. Pretty high gain. You can see I've just got the gain at about 10 o'clock here. It's supposed to be a rhythm channel, and on the Peavey JSX, which I had for a while as well, and is very similar to this amplifier. I think that was called the crunch channel, and that channel had less gain on that, so it was easier to get a crunch tone. go all the way down with the gain. And as you can see, there's not a lot of range on the pot we have here to reliably dial a crunch tone. In fact, those edge of breakup tones are going to be pretty hard to get on this amp. Because if we dial the gain up anymore, we get into that heavy crunch territory. And this channel gets really gained out if we So one of the main differences between this, the JSX, and the 5150 is that the Peavey 3120 and the triple XXX don't have the resonance and presence power amp controls. Instead, they have a switch on the back that is called damping, and you have 3 settings, I think: loose, mid, and tight. And I didn't do any research on this. What I think that does is affect the negative feedback loop. I think on loose, which is where I have it now, it has the least negative feedback, mid is somewhere in the middle, and tight has a lot of negative feedback. Why I think that is it changes the tone and the volume. Let me show you on the back here. I have it on loose and I'm going to switch to mid. I hope that comes across on YouTube through this mic, but the amplifier got significantly more quiet and the EQ profile has changed. I'm going to switch to tight now. And it's gotten significantly quieter again, and the tone has changed a bit again. And I like it in loose with a boost engaged. I think that's where it sounds best. But one thing this amp has to compensate the lacking power amp controls, which for some reason I don't miss on this amp at all, is active equalization on the lead and the rhythm channels. And let me show you how powerful those EQs are. Ear piercing. Super scooped. Opposite end of the spectrum. It's clipping the preamp. Again, it's clipping the preamp. Everything's shaking. Let's move over to the lead channel. I think the lead channel is quite similar to the rhythm channel on this amp, just with a slightly different EQ, if I recall it correctly. Let's go over there and switch back and forth. It's a bit thicker sounding. It has more body, possibly for leads. Sorry, I'm not much of a lead player. I just like filthy riffs. Before I get out the 5150, I want to try one thing. I want to switch over to the Amp Central Evo over there to see how it sounds with one of my IRs and with the Loadbox. This sounds quite different to me. I have the perception of way more gain with the Amp Central Evo and less bass, but that's probably just the lack of room sound that has stopped screwing with my perception. So let me back down the gain a bit. And add a bit of bass. Let's whip out the 5150. Alright, I've got the 5150 set up the way I like it. I just level matched them beforehand, and I'm going to start off with the Peavey 3120 and then switch over to the 5150. The 3120 is LED 1 on the amp switcher, if you can see it on camera, and the 5150 is LED 2. I will put captions on screen though. They do sound remarkably similar where I'm sitting right now. I'm not sure how well that translates on the microphone or how the differences are. I'm going to find out in editing, but overall I think very close. The 5150 might just sound a little bigger overall. The 3120 may be a little tighter, but overall they're very close. Let me switch this over to the lead channel and compare again. Well, in the room they sound really close. Let's switch in the boost, see how they react to the boost. with the boost engaged, they react slightly differently, to me in the room at least. The 5150 seems to be getting a little bit more nasty than the 3120. The boost seems to kick the 5150 into a slightly higher gear than the 3120, which is interesting to me, which might imply that they have slightly different input stages. Let's compare the rhythm channel of the 3120 to the rhythm channel of the 5150 with the gain high. The 3120 has more gain. And keeps it too. Oh, this is gonna look great. Obviously, they're both high gain beasts. They both work very well for high gain. For that, the 3120 is a great alternative to the 5150. But let's see how they do with crunch and clean, stuff that you wouldn't really use a 5150 for traditionally. Right. And as you can see, I'm having trouble getting the 3120 to even sound as mellow as the 5150 on the rhythm channel with the gain on 3.5 or something. Like, I can barely get it down there. Go even more mellow. Edge breakup. See if we can get the 3120 there. Can't even get the 3120 there. Can't get the 3120 there at all. So for edge of breakup crunchiness, I think the point goes to the 5150. However, for cleans, I think it's going to be a different story. Even with the bright switch engaged, the Peavey 5150 just sounds dull in comparison. Whereas the 3120 has a beautiful clean channel. And I never really got what people said about the 5150 and its cocked wah sound, because it was never really so apparent with me on the gain channels. But comparing the clean channels now, of all things, is really apparent to me, because the Peavey 5150 just sounds odd on the clean channel. In the mids, it sounds like the wah is on. So point definitely goes to the 3120. So where does that leave me? What about my bias and expectations? I'm not sure, to be honest. I expected the 3120 to kick the Peavey 150 straight in the teeth, because, as I said, playing them individually, I always prefer the 3120, but there's nothing like an amp switcher to challenge your own biases. And I think for the high gain tones, they're pretty close. And they feel very similar as well. So I can't really pick a favorite there. I think they're both great amps, and I could get away with, I could live with both. So yeah, buy both. As I mentioned earlier on, I did have a Peavey JSX for a while at the same time as the 3120 and the 5150, and regular viewers will have seen that in the shootout against the Marshall JVM 410HJS. And it's quite similar to the Peavey XXXX and the 3120. It has a very similar channel layout. The controls are similar. It has a completely non-functional gate on board, but it has power amp controls. It has resonance and presence controls instead of that damping switch on the back. And this channel here is slightly lower gain on the JSX, if I remember correctly, which makes it more versatile. At the same time, I always liked the JSX, but I never loved it. I preferred playing this by a healthy margin. And looking at my experience today, I wish I'd held on to that, because I should have compared those on a switcher as well. Maybe my perception was just playing tricks on me, because I didn't like... I hate chrome. I think chrome sucks. I hate the look of it. So maybe that really affected how I wanted to perceive the amp. And I think that's a huge factor in the way we perceive amps. I think amps that look good tend to sound better to us, at least to me. I know I'm probably fooled by stuff like that. And the fact that the 3120 just looks a lot nicer to me probably, or maybe subconsciously, made me prefer the 3120 to the JSX. The same way as my perception of the Peavey 5150 might have had me favor the 3120, because it is the less popular amp. It's kind of a bit of a secret almost. And the 5150, it's done to death. It's the standard for a reason. I mean, it sounds great, but I always like to do things different. So that's why I think I might have, again, subconsciously preferred the 3120. Now, on the amp switcher, I realized they're actually very close to each other. And if I weren't able to see the amplifier, I probably wouldn't have been able to tell from the feel or the tones. Let me know what you think of this in the comment. Check out my Patreon or my Tone affiliate link down there if you'd like to support me. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!